Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death. We now have the correct overlay, but we need to change dice and stuff. Anyway, Ryan, would you like to introduce your character for us?
Sure. I'm playing Tyrus Bellows, the evil human paladin, servant of Verasi. I am tall and athletic, well over 6 feet tall, quite imposing, with long flowing black hair, clean shaven face, and a chiseled jaw. I have azure eyes. It says so on my character sheet. I'm wearing black leather studded with spikes, and strapped to my back is a shiny bastard sword.
Mm-hmm. Is this bastard sword a family heirloom, or is it just a recently purchased weapon of
I
war?
paid 25 gold for it out of the player's handbook. Can it be a family heirloom?
If you would like it to be.
Sure. Yes.
Okay, so you are sullying your family's once noble reputation.
Am I? Isn't Verasi the in thing right now, or did she just recently rise to power?
She's risen to power for a little while ago, maybe 20 years. So you probably grew up under her influence.
But my parents, not so much.
Well, I mean, no one hopes their child grows up to be a servant of Verasi, you know. But then again, maybe not. Maybe your family is some sort of Verasi worshipping cultist. Maybe you guys are the Scientologists of the day.
I don't think so. I think my father was a blacksmith. But this is, yeah, maybe he made the sword. It's his most prized possession, and here I am using it to slaughter the innocents.
Well, that was the last time they did anything for the world. Okay. We now have our overlays, we have our maps, everything is beautiful. So let's take a look at the map. We come into game here in Redport. Let's zoom in on that section of the world if we can. Redport is the place.
Bing.
Where's our audio? Audio courtesy of tabletopaudio.com, as always. You arrive in Redport on a large sailing ship. It has many oars to help it along in those tough situations, but it mostly works under the power of sail. After a very, very long voyage at sea, you see Redport in the distance, and the ship pulls in, tucks up alongside a dock, and you step off into a brand new world. The people over here are more or less the same as back on the mainland. Their skin is a little bit darker, a little bit more weathered. Maybe that's just because this is the docks district. It's hard to tell. They tend to be a little bit shorter over here than you had back home. But maybe it's just been famine here recently. You're not sure.
How did the coastline look?
Fairly jagged. Not that jagged, actually. It's a what do you call it? A soft coastline. There's no tall cliffs. Lots of beach land as you approached. Redport is at the it's not quite on a peninsula. It's at the point of the land mass. And it is the furthest town to the east on the
Am I aware of that? Have we mapped out this land, or is that...
Well, when you left, you had discussed with your superiors what you were doing, where you were going, and they had given you a map of the area, which is the map that you see before you on Roll20. This is the map that you start with.
Sure, I'll go ahead and add that to my character sheet. Map. Alright, so I step down the docks of the ship, humming to myself as I strut down the planks. And I look these people up and down.
They look you up and down for a moment. Then move
Mostly
on.
up.
Yeah, mostly up.
Derive some satisfaction out of towering over the small folk.
Can you send me a copy of your character sheet?
I did.
You did.
In Skype, did you not accept it? Do I need to send it again?
I don't think you did.
Oh, forgot to press enter.
It's a very useful button. Still did not see it.
Come on. No beach balls spinning.
All right, well, we'll get it eventually. What's your strength score? 14?
14.
Okay. The people go to and fro, offloading things from the ship, onloading things to the ship. You've paid the captain well in advance, and you are now sitting in the Redport Dock District.
All right. As I stroll the district, continuing to hum and trying to recall my last visit with my... Oh, Skype quit unexpectedly. Trying to recall my last visit with my superiors and what was instructed to me.
What was instructed to you was to investigate the land and soften it up. If there are any strong warriors of good, any warriors of Martha or Astaire, they should be slain. If there are any orders that would stand in the way of Rossi's moving in here, you should seek to sabotage and destroy them as much as possible. Things of that nature. Your mission is not to conquer the land, but to prepare the land for conquer and to map out and destroy anything that might stand in your way.
Sure. Sow the seeds of weakness and insurrection.
Yeah, but you are a paladin. You are the unholy warrior of Varossi, so it's not supposed to be done through necessarily stealth and cunning. Part of softening it up is spreading... Oh, there's the file. Spreading the word and being proud of your Varossiness.
Okay.
You should
So
not be
it takes me a
seen
minute or two to jog my memory, recall all of this. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but my sword sure is.
Mm-hmm.
So once I've sort of gathered my wits, I stop singing myself and I grab the nearest commoner by the scruff of his shirt.
You grab a guy who looks up to you, and as you do, you notice he has a bronze collar around his neck. And he looks up and says, "Yes, my lord?"
I give the collar a little flick with my finger, curiously.
It tings loudly, but does not spin.
Tell me, who rules this town?
That would be Lord Jacob.
Where is your mayor? Lord Jacob.
Yes, my lord.
And his manor house?
He points out to the sea. You notice to the north of Redport, you came in on the east side, but the dock is on the end of this like curved section. So the dock actually curves along this like 90-degree area. You came in from the east. He points towards the north, and you see a small island out maybe 1,000 feet into the water. It has a large manor built on it with, I guess it's more of a keep on it with stone walls all the way around and a small port in front. The Lord Jacob lives on the ocean, on the island. The only way to his manor is by ship or boat.
I'm not looking at the commoner. I'm looking out at the island, still gripping his shirt. I shove him free and try and walk to some point on the land that has a good view of this island.
Okay. Commoner goes back to his duties. You end up finding a nice high ground on it's almost a parapet. So the dock area here is all stone, stoneworks with wooden docks sticking out. And there is one area that climbs up, like there's a little bit of a hill, and the stones come up there, and there's like a little, a couple of benches and a small fountain where there's some people sitting around chatting with each other. Looks like a family and a couple that are out necking on a bench, but it gives you a nice unobstructed view of the island.
Well, I take a knee and watch the island for a bit. Do many ships come and go from it?
No, it's pretty much empty. There's a couple of ships tied up to it, a couple of boats tied up to the dock, but nothing is going to or from.
Interesting. It's a fortified keep, though, on the island.
Yeah, the entire island. It's basically rock or water, and then rock starts to come, and then as soon as it becomes not just like impossible to build upon rock, it's just walls. It's a very well fortified location.
All right, I head into the city from there. So I turn back away from the docks, away from the keep, and head over into the city.
Sure. Where would you like to go?
I've never been to the city, so I don't know where there is to go. I will walk down the biggest road that I see.
I'm sorry, I'm just making some notes because I was not prepared for this, and I don't want to forget the things that I've told you this time.
I'm never prepared, and I always forget the things that I tell you.
But I want to be...
You're raising the bar.
I'm trying to raise the bar, yeah. Okay, you stride through the town. It seems to be a decent-sized town, probably pushing 5,000 or 6,000 people. The Docks District makes up not most of the town, but it's a fairly large part of town. There's a lot of little taverns here and there. There's a couple of inns, but not that many, not as many as you would expect. And people seem to be very busy, bustling to and fro. You notice that there are quite a few people walking around with these bronze collars around their necks.
I'm assuming slaves, but I don't know.
Um,
Do I see many armed men and any uniformed men?
You do spot a pair of uniformed men, what look to be town guards, city watch, something like that. They carry spears that have bronze tips, or maybe it's metal that's been plated with bronze or something. And they're very broad, kind of leaf-shaped tips. And the spears are quite long, longer than you would see normally. They wear they wear breastplates with leather skirts, kind of like hoplite armor almost, and shin guards. They seem not too concerned with what's going on around them as they chatter between each other walking through the town. Other than that, you don't see too many armed people. The occasional person you do see armed, it just has a blade at their side and no armor on. You do spot one guy who has a breastplate, a steel breastplate, and a longsword at his side, and a backpack.
Sure.
Probably.
I'm gonna follow behind these town guards. About how thick are the crowds? Like I'm not too worried about being noticed, so I prioritize being able to keep up with them.
You can keep up with them. As I said, people here are a little bit shorter than you're used to, and you're taller than most people back home, so
yeah,
you
like
tower
6'4".
over the crowds, and you can follow the guards easily.
Right.
The guards go through the city.
Can I recall the name of the lord, or should I just roll that I forgot it?
Give me an intelligence check.
Let's get these dice warm.
Jacob.
Holy shit. Lord Jacob.
You have 6 intelligence?
I have 6 intelligence.
What was Verossi
Dump
thinking
stat.
sending you here?
Excuse me? I'm so handsome, though.
What is your hotness?
Oh, I guess I'm not handsome. Yeah, I've only got like 10 hotness, 17 charisma, so I guess I'm just intimidating as fuck.
Yeah. The guards patrol the dock area and then just come back and on another patrol. It seems like they are just patrolling the dock areas incessantly.
Are they the only two guards that I see? Do I see any other guards patrolling around?
Yeah, actually, these are the only two guards that you see.
Do they pay any mind to me following them around?
They don't seem to care. If they've spotted
I-
you, they've given no signal of it, no sign.
Have I seen any holy like temples, churches?
You do spot a temple in town a little bit further, and as well as a smaller shrine. It's not even a full church or temple. It's a single shrine near the dock.
I'll stop there first, I guess, on my way to the larger temple that I saw.
Okay, hold on. Let me let it load. I forgot the name of this god. It is a shrine to Quantarius. You know him to be the god of trade and travel and ships and sea sort of stuff. Favored among merchants.
All right, I pay it little mind. How many were there priests and stuff about, or was it just like a shrine where people were?
It's just a single
depositing
shrine.
money?
Yeah. You've got like an altar set up that's got a little bit of a hut coming over it to protect it, and people leave various offerings, copper coins, bits of food, bits of drink, bottles of booze. There's even a barrel of beer next to it.
Interesting. I'm never hungry. All right, so I head deeper into the city towards the temple.
Okay. You walk through the town. Away from the dock district, the town gets a little bit quieter and smells a lot less fishy. You see people working in the shops and in their streets, just like in any other part of the world. And eventually you come across this temple. It is made of stone with a wooden roof that has, what do you call it? Hard-packed clay shingles all over it.
I step in through the front door. Unless there's someone outside. Is it a double door, single door?
It is double-doored. There is a man outside begging for money.
Is he blocked the doorway, or?
No, he's just off on the side. As you approach, you notice that he is blind in both eyes. His clothes are tattered rags, and he hears the jingling of your armor and your weapons as you approach, and he holds out his hands. Alms! Alms for the poor!
Does he have anything in his hands?
No, his hands are empty, calloused and cut. He also speaks with a heavy accent, which I haven't figured out what the accent of this area is going to be like yet. But really, it is you who has an accent here.
I give him a nudge with my foot.
Sorry, my lord, sorry. Alms, alms for the poor.
I open my mouth as if to give him some advice and decide better of it, and push the double doors open.
They open with a loud creak, and then slowly close behind you as you walk in. The temple is fairly large and fairly empty. You notice that there's only a couple of people in the pews praying, and you see one priest near the back, kind of tending to an altar, and a couple of what do you call them? What are the kids that work in a church called? It's not slave
Altar
labor.
boys?
It's what?
Altar boys.
Sure.
Catholic church, I think it's an altar boy.
Yeah, the equivalent of altar boys sweeping the floors here and there.
Right. I step within 60 feet of him. I'm not too bright, so I'm probably not noticing any holy symbols. I probably am missing the giant crucifix or whatever in the center of the room. and I'm just going with my instincts and sort of I stop about 60 feet from the priest and just stare him down.
I keep forgetting you have this unholy aura that everyone should be able to spot.
10 feet. It's only 10 feet, so it's
Okay.
only if they're like right up next to me.
Okay.
I smell the priest, smell the air. Do I detect any abhorrent holiness?
Yes, you feel your skin crawling. This is
Just
like
from the
all
priest or the
churches on the main continent. This has one major altar to, well, unlike the churches back home, this has one major altar, and then all the other gods have little altars on the sides instead of having equal altars for all the gods. You look around and you do not see Verasi represented among the altars. And your skin crawls and your feet, you feel like the blood boiling in your feet, recognizing the consecrated ground you stand upon in favor of Martha. The priest doesn't notice you at first.
All right. Is he the only priest that I see?
Yes.
I approach him slowly from behind.
He noticed you
Begin to
approaching.
hum.
He turns and goes, excuse me, sir, is there something I can do for you? Let me know if you approach within 10 feet of him.
I'm going to continue to walk towards him as I'll stop humming and speak. Say, no, nothing you can do for me. I was merely admiring this establishment. It's quite nice, but I think you're missing a few pieces.
Who might I be missing? He says. You're not quite within 10 feet of him yet.
Okay. I'm sort of looking around, not really making eye contact with him. Tell me, do you see this Lord Jacob much? Does he come to you for confession or whatever it is, whatever purpose you serve?
Excuse me.
May I
ask your name? The priest is 60 years old of a day. His hair is thinning and gray. His frame is slight and weak. He looks... if he wasn't a priest who clearly had access to food, you'd think he was malnourished. His body's a little bit frail and thin. And he shuffles his feet as he walks.
Mm-hmm. So he does walk towards me.
Mm-hmm. He comes within 10 feet of you in the middle of this next sentence. What did you say your name was? And he looks at you kind of with confusion and
10
horror.
Feet of me.
Yeah, he stops at 10 feet from you as he looks at you with confusion and a little bit of terror. Who are you?
Take a step closer.
He takes a step back.
My name's Tyrus Bellows, and I take a step towards him. He did not answer my question. I lock eyes with him.
He takes another step back. What question?
Lord Jacob, are you familiar with him? Are you his absolution?
He looks behind him as he starts walking backwards.
I continue. I match his pace and just try and keep the distance consistent. So I keep about just under 10 feet or whatever between us.
Lord Jacob. Yes, I see him from time to time. What? Gods be good. He makes the symbol of a stare on his forehead and reaches into his back pocket, where he produces a flask of holy water, or what you assume to be holy water, and he says, "Stand back! I'm armed with the mother's water."
I'm gonna close and try and grab the holy water from his hand.
Give me a roll to hit.
D20.
Nope. You make a swipe for it, and he pulls his hand back, uncorks it, and splashes you with holy water, and says, "By the gods, be good! By the good gods, be gone!"
Screaming, "Ah! It burns! It burns!" And I drop to my knees.
His voice gains strength as he says, "By the gods of good, be gone!"
And I rise back to my feet.
The glass vial in his hand drops and shatters on the ground.
Thank you for that. I was growing warm. This place boils my blood.
Who?
I
What
see that
are
all.
you?
I see that all of the lesser gods are represented, but you are missing the two most important. The Malchus, the chaos which turns the world, and Our Lady Queen, who will mount it when he is done.
Nerul spins the world, as does
Now,
Tempos. You
now
blasphemer!
tell me, mother, when does this Lord Jacob usually come to see you?
I shall
When
not
is the
tell the likes
session?
of you anything, and Lord
What's
Jacob is
going on?
sure to drive your evil from this land.
What is the rest of the temple like? Like, are the other people taking notice of the scene?
You glance about.
Yeah.
The two people that were praying have stood and they're just kind of staring. Their mouths are a little bit open, like. The altar boys have stopped sweeping and hold their brooms in front of them. One of them has his broom kind of like almost like a baseball bat, but they have kept far, far away and are backing a little bit further away while they in their stance. Um,
All right. Um, can I spot the altar to Martha?
yes, you are almost in front of it.
I will approach and look up. Is it
Okay.
carved? Is it stone, wood?
The the altar itself is stone, but there happens to be a holy book open onto it, which you quickly recognize as the foul teachings of Martha, as well as oh god, what's Martha's holy symbol? Hold on.
Uh,
Two
golden
golden rings,
rings.
yeah. You notice that there are two golden rings locked into place, dangling off of the altar itself, and behind it, because the altar to Martha is at the very front, kind of like you would have in a Christian church.
Hmm.
You have this large statue of Martha with an altar before it that has this book open that would be facing the audience, not facing the not facing Martha. Then you've got the two golden links or golden rings linked, and they're not dangling down. They're like side by side. There's two pegs that come out of the altar that each one link sits on one link sits on the other. Um, and the priest had almost backed up all the way to the temple, or almost all the way to the altar. So you push past him to get to it.
Okay, so I'm like circling around him, ignoring
Okay.
him, and looking up at the altar.
Hmm.
Can I reach the statue itself?
Sure, you just have to step a few feet past the altar. The statue stands about 20 feet tall.
Yeah. Oh wow.
It's a big statue to Martha.
All right. So I approach the statue, circle around the altar, looking
Okay.
up.
As you approach, you feel this overwhelming sense of hatred, I guess. You have this pit in your stomach that gets heavier and heavier, and your blood starts to boil, not just in your feet, but all the way through, like your shins and your belly and your chest and your
Is
face.
this the detect evil or the detect good going haywire, or is it something else?
This is more of the aura of good around the statue conflicting with your aura of evil. It's a consecrated ground, and it makes you feel very uncomfortable.
I had some thoughts, but I think I'm repelled. So I backstep a little bit,
Hmm.
give the priest a look.
He looks at you with terror and horror in his eyes.
You have been most unhelpful.
You shall be driven from the land. Your evil will never be tolerated here.
You will see. Perhaps you will even learn to channel your powers for a greater purpose. You are a man grown by many decades. It's time to leave your mother behind
You just
feel the love of another woman. And I give
blasphemy.
him a smile and start walking towards the door.
Okay. The doors are shut before you. They're hung slightly off center, so if you open them, they will close on their own.
Right. I heave them open with both my hands and step out into the sunlight.
Okay. You step back out into the town. It is bustling about you as if what you have just witnessed never happened. People go to and fro, and a couple of people walk the steps towards you, and as they enter, as they pass you to go through the doors, they recoil in terror and horror and just give you looks of
I stare them back down.
They run.
Take a feint. They run into the temple.
No, they go sideways and just flee.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, I walk down the steps of the temple slowly, chasing away as many people as I can.
Okay.
So it does seem like this lord has to come into town to attend the temple from time to time. I start walking down the road. God, 6 intelligence is pretty dumb.
6 intelligence is pretty dumb.
It's gonna be tough for me to role play.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
If you do anything too smart, I'll make you make an intelligence check just to...
Yeah, I was just starting to try and think population sizes and how many guards I would expect, what sort of standing army, but that's pretty beyond the capabilities of Tyrus, I think.
You might be able to figure it out, but it'd be the sort of thing where you have to sit down and really think about it. I saw 2 guards at the docks. So there's at least 2 in the town.
Yeah, I'm going to walk towards the western gate.
Okay. You proceed towards where you would expect a western gate to town. Some people recoil in terror from you as you walk through the town. Other people don't seem to care too much. These are the sorts of people your god would prefer, I guess.
I think my god would probably prefer to just slay them all and raise them back as skeletons, but we'll see.
Well, you need somebody to rule. You can't just kill everybody. After walking through the streets for some time, you come to the edge of town. The road that leads out is actually kind of a southwestern gate.
Okay, so it wasn't the same. It wasn't a direct shot from the docks. I sort of had to take a turn. Was I able to follow the main road through town, or did I have to wander?
Yeah, you can follow the main. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to. Cool. If this were, I'm gonna look at the bottom right corner by next to the legend. If the town is, how should we do it? This is roughly the shape of the town, right? So you've got docks sticking off like this all over the place. Your ship came in right here, and you came through here. There's the temple. I'm just going to make a little sign of the cross to demonstrate. And then the exit of town would have been down like this. So the main road through town is actually diagonal. It goes southwest to northeast, and then that would be the exit. There's also a wall around town up until you hit the docks, at least.
So there is a gate at the edge of town?
There is.
Is it shut?
It is wide open.
I approach the gate, and do I see guards about?
There are 2 guards. They have the same breastplate and studded leather skirts, and the long spears. They're like 10-foot long spears with the very large bronze heads on them.
Are they inside the gate?
Yeah, the two of them, one of them is leaning against the gate, facing inward, talking to the other guy who's standing on the inside of the gate, talking to him facing outward. They
Is
don't
there
seem too concerned with the foot traffic going through.
is there a parapet or
Yeah,
like a
there are parapets
what do you
along the
call it?
wall. There's also a single guard tower, just one. It's on the left side of the gate when you're approaching from the inside.
Are there any guards along the tower? So I probably
No.
stopped in the middle of the road about 20 feet from the gate, and I'm just looking around, surveying the defenses.
You see a single bowman walking along the parapets, kind of kind of lazily walking along. He's got his bow and on his back, his quiver at his hip, a short sword at his side. The guards also have short swords at their sides down below. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be too horribly well defended, although that breastplate is pretty tough. Oh, the archer on top just does not have any armor to speak of. Is just wearing clothing.
All right, I'll turn around and head back towards the docks district
Okay. You return to the docks.
and look for a seedy tavern by the docks.
Okay. You come across a tavern on the south side, well, the southern side of the docks. Over here, the stone is a little bit more broken up. It looks like it's not been repaired in probably a couple of centuries. You spot various establishments of ill repute. There's one 2-story wooden building that has bare-breasted women leaning over the balconies with ale in their hands, singing songs with rowdy patrons, occasionally lifting up their skirts to show their bare nether regions to the people down below. Seems like the sort of area you're looking for.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty unconcerned with the prostitutes, but it seems like a seedy place to get the rumors that I need.
hmm
So I will look disdainfully away from the hookers and step in to the tavern room.
Okay. The tavern room is, well, it's alive with the sounds of people having a great time. I don't want.
Well, that's all about to change.
Yeah. There's a piano being played with kind of a jazzy song on it, being played loudly. There's people singing and laughing. The flute music that's about to come in is not appropriate, but we don't have a kind of song.
All right. I will pick a table at random that has a couple of people sitting around it and approach
Okay.
and my knuckles down on the table, my gloved fists.
The conversation between the
lean
three
in over
men
the table.
immediately stops as they look to you. One of them stands up abruptly and says, "Who the fuck do you think you are?"
Calm down, son. You could stand to make a few silver. Just looking for some information is all. And I meet his
Silence.
gaze.
Yeah, he meets yours
big-
but says nothing.
Stays standing.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a seat for me or not?
There is.
All right, I think I'll take a seat then.
Okay. After you sit, he sits as well.
So, boys, I'm looking for information on this Lord Jacob.
Yeah.
So he lives out on that rock out to sea,
Mm-hmm.
hiding in his little tower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do all you boys do? You sailors? I pull out my coin purse and start idly playing with a few silver pieces.
They nod. Two of them say, "We're sailors." The guy that was kind of challenging you earlier says nothing.
How many boats come to and from his lordship's house?
Daily supply ships head out there with fresh food and water. The island doesn't have a water source of its own, so they keep it regularly supplied. One of the men starts reaching for the coins in your hand.
I put 3 silver coins on the table and put one under each of 3 of my fingers. I slide it over towards them.
Okay. The 2 of them eagerly take the coins. The third one leaves it in front of him, doesn't take it, but doesn't push it away. He glances at it and looks at it for a little bit, and looks back up at you.
Are these silly guards that I see around town the Lord's men? With the breastplates and the leaf sticks.
Yeah, City Watch.
They live on the island too?
No, they live in a couple of barracks in town. Lord Jacob has his own retinue for his personal guard. A couple of knights.
Good thing the third guy didn't take the silver, because I actually only had 2 silver coins.
Okay.
Into the gold. So you said there was a routine of knights on the... how do you say it?
Retinue? I've always thought it was retinue. Is it a routine?
I don't know. I think I probably just dyslexicked up retinue.
Awesome. Yeah, he's got his own personal guard. A pair of knights, as well as a dozen...
retinue is a group of advisors, assistants, or otherwise. I think it's a... Maybe it's based on retainer? Like your retainer? Isn't that like your personal guard?
I don't know. He's got a dozen spears as well for his personal guard, as well as the 2 knights, and a handful of crossbowmen.
You've been most helpful. I pull out a gold coin and set it on the table under a finger and say, who runs the ship that manages the supply runs? Who's the captain? What's the ship?
It's oh god, I can't think of any names at all. Captain Steele. He pilots the Fair Maiden and resupplies the Lord Jacob every day, well, as often as he needs, and does his other shipping needs for him.
All right, I leave the 1 gold on the table and walk out of the room.
Okay.
I need more money if I'm going to be bribing a captain. All right, so I know what I'm going to do. I don't offhand have any contacts in the city, do I?
You know that that you can meet up with an informant / spy who is able to send messages back. He should be working in the dock district. The only way that you know to contact him is a passphrase that had been worked out in advance. You say, my mother's fallen ill, and he will reply, don't worry, a new mother is here to take your place.
Her place?
Her place, yeah.
Is that like a universal thing, or is this just me and this one guy? Like, is that for every Verasi informant on the continent, or is that just this one guy and...
That's the going passphrase between Verasi people on the continent. It may change in the future, but for now, that's the give and take.
Okay. All right, I'm going to wander around the docks district looking for an herbalist or an apothecary.
Okay, you come across both. This is a major shipping center. Is it? Yeah, this is where all the ships from the east come in. All the ships from the east stop at Redport first to resupply, to stock up, to do whatever trade. So this is probably the most. If you want to find something exotic, this is the place to find it.
All right, I will approach one of these herbalists
Mm-hmm.
and say, I'm looking for something a little bit unsavory. I sort of size him up as I say this. Are you a man I should be talking to?
He looks about the room for a little bit.
Is it a room or is it just like an open market?
You know, he actually has a small shop in the market area.
Mm-hmm.
He waits for a couple of customers to walk outside after they finish up their window shopping. And he says,
Yeah, I probably paid them no mind. Yeah.
I have a great many unsavory things for the man with the coin. Is there a particular sort of spice you might want?
There is, but that's just the problem. I am fresh off the boat, as they say, and don't have much in the way of coin. But perhaps if you have what I'm looking for, we can make a deal. I am a very useful man to be friends with.
What is it that you are looking to see done?
I look around. Is there anyone in the room?
No, the room is
now
empty.
I check.
Completely empty.
Something that could be put into water. Large quantities of water.
To water? Oh,
Say
large
a
quantities
banquet.
of water.
Say the communal drinking bin at a banquet and do away with a whole lot of rats at once.
Where previously he was intrigued, his brow furrows and he says, "This is the most unsavory deal. I have something for you. I have something, but I would prefer if this was, how you say, I hope these rats you wish to remove are far away from here. It would not do to disrupt business."
I find that when rats die, they are always replaced with fresher, cleaner, whiter mice, are they not? Much more pleasant, all things considered.
He produces from behind the counter a strange purplish root and says, "This is a rare specimen of the poison nightshade family. One root like this, ground up, finely chopped, properly prepared, should be able to deal away with a handful of rats. How many are you looking to remove? You may need more, and I do not have any. This is all I have."
This could perhaps be a rather large dinner party. Dozens.
Well, you're in luck. I may not have this on me, but I know where it grows. Perhaps we can work out some sort of deal if you are as a useful a man as you say you are.
This is perfect. Tell me where to find it, and I will bring you back the leftovers.
This root only grows on the cliffs overlooking the sea. I last gathered this on the north coast, some miles out of town. It is not necessarily the safest area.
What? Brigands? Goblins?
Monsters of the sea, monsters of the land. The roads are fairly safe usually, but traveling the coast by yourself can be most frightful. You out-of-towners aren't really aware of what life is like here.
I suppose not, but the monsters out there won't be aware of what I am like. So we'll
Very
be on
good.
even footing.
Very good.
Any more specific instructions? Does my map even have enough detail for me to like get any use out of pulling it out? Or
The map that you have is the map that we have on Roll20.
yeah. So yeah, I'll pull out the map and be like, so we're here, right? And probably point to like this. Is Redport even labeled?
Yeah, I mean, look at the map on Roll20. It's all labeled.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll point to Redport and be like, so we're here, right?
Yes, yes. He draws his finger. I've last spotted the roots growing along here. You'll notice the flowers that grow from the roots are most distinctive. They are a combination of red, or alternating red and yellow petals. It is best to harvest the root when the red petals are crimson. That is when you know the toxins are most potent.
Hold on a sec. Alternating. So I'm like speaking this back to myself, trying not to forget. Alternating red and yellow flowers. Ripe when crimson.
They can be plucked at any time, but most potent at when the red flowers turn crimson, and that will only be for a day. That is right before the flowers turn to fruits, which I would not eat either. Small berries are produced, very small, most bitter, very difficult to cover up.
Okay. Well then, I thank you for this lead. You will be seeing me shortly.
He gives you a
Perhaps
look
as-
for a moment and says, you will still need me to properly prepare them. The roots on them by themselves are inefficient. If you can gather me
Of course.
twice the supplies that you need for yourself, I'd be happy to hold on to the rest as payment for preparing them properly.
Sounds like a deal.
The door to the shop opens with a loud bang as a couple of boisterous people come in talking to themselves. You can overhear one of them saying, I tell you, she's going to love me if it's the last thing I do. I'm tired of not being noticed. She's always talking to the other guys. And the proprietor just gives you a nod.
Yeah, I give him a nod. I say, thank you, sir. I'm sure my mother will be much, much better off.
If her coughing doesn't dissipate in the next couple of days, come and see me. Sometimes the rheumatoid and arthritis remedies are behind the times.
All right, so I leave this apothecary making note of the location. I didn't catch his name, somewhat on purpose.
Yeah. One of those situations where he doesn't ask, you don't ask, no one wants to know.
Right.
And why don't we take our second break?
Very well.
Oh man, I didn't even, that stuff wasn't even being shown on screen. Oh, I was zoomed in the wrong spot. Damn it, this is why you don't have two maps open. Grumble, grumble. Sorry, chat. Here, let me just redraw for you guys where they were talking about. He drew along this. This is where Ryan must go. And if we want to take a look at the scale, that is about a 40-mile range of coastline. There you go. Sorry about that, guys. I'm blind. All right, we're going to go to break now, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.